Tonight, the Ghana Sputnik V vaccine controversy as WHO warns about engaging middlemen who may inflate prices or import fake vaccines. In the wake of revelations, Ghana may already be victims of inflated vaccine price peddling.
We have received similar concerns regarding other vaccines with intermediates selling it at a much higher price than what is being actually sold by the manufacturers. There's a lot of substandard and falsified COVID products being commercialized out there.
We tell you why the WHO is advising Ghana and other vulnerable countries to probe the background of vaccine intermediaries after it emerged the middleman helping Ghana secure the Russian vaccines is a wanted man.
Contact the manufacturer to make sure that the intermediate is legal.
We have details as we await a promised press release on the issue from the Health Ministry.
This is Top Story with Evans Mensah.
And Top Stories are always brought to you by Gasem Cement, the nation builder, as well as Vodafone. The WHO is tonight warning Ghana against engaging suspicious middlemen in a desperate bid to secure COVID-19 vaccines. In fact, the World Health Organization warns many middlemen are selling fake vaccines at inflated prices to vulnerable countries all over the world. Now, the WHO was reacting to revelations that Ghana may be a victim of inflated vaccine price peddling by questionable middlemen who signed an agreement with government with a promise of supplying 3.4 million doses of the Russian-made Sputnik V vaccines. The Health Ministry had earlier today promised to issue a statement on the revelations, first published by Norwegian investigative newspaper VG. That statement is yet to come, but the Norwegian journalists who pursued the matter took the issue to the WHO Assistant Director General for Access to Medicines and Health Products, Marigela Batista Simao. Listen.
Our newspaper recently put out a story detailing how middlemen located in the United Arab Emirates are selling Sputnik vaccines to, amongst other, Guyana, Ghana, and Pakistan at $19 to $22.50 per dose. That's around double what the Russians are charging in direct deals. The Minister of Finance of Ghana and the Vice President of Guyana explains the decision to buy at such a steep markup with finding themselves in a situation where they weren't able to find any other way to procure enough vaccines. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta of Ghana goes on to say, and I quote, "You are confronted with the good guys from the West not giving you any assurance of supply, and you have 30 million people to save the lives of." I was asking, what is the WHO's reaction to middlemen profiting from a lack of vaccines that is caused by uneven distribution?
We have received concerns from countries, not only you're citing the Gamaleya vaccine right now, the Sputnik, but we have received similar concerns regarding other vaccines with intermediates selling it at a much higher price than what is being actually sold by the manufacturers. Two things to be aware of. First of all, is that the vast majority of manufacturers are selling only to public entities. Right, so they are selling or to the international procurers, which is in this case of the COVID vaccines is COVAX, and through the procurement agencies UNICEF and PAHO. The other thing to be taken into account. So what we have advised back to countries is to contact the manufacturer to make sure that the intermediate is legal. Right, because there is also the other side of this, because there's a lot of substandard and falsified COVID products being commercialized out there. So you need to know the provenance, where is the procedence, where is this product coming from, who is selling, and whether it's registered and has it been listed by WHO. So there are several things that need to be taken into account into this. During the last World Health Assembly, now that ended last week, we did have a long discussion on substandard and falsified medicines and vaccines circulated in the market, and the internet sales are the way that these procurers reach out to either individuals or governments. So our advice is check with the manufacturer, check the legality of the transaction, and then you make an informed decision. And please make sure that you're buying vaccines that are certified by WHO.
And that is the WHO Assistant Director General for Access to Medicines and Health Products, Mariangela Batista Simao. So what's the background to this? Well, earlier this year, I mean, let's say it's a few weeks back, the Ministry of Health issued a statement in which they said that the government had reached an agreement for the supply of vaccines, as many as 3.4 million doses of the Sputnik V COVID-19 vaccines as part of efforts to protect the lives of citizens against the pandemic. Now, in the press release from the Ministry of Health, it says the supply of the vaccine is part of an arrangement between the government and the private office of His Royal Highness Sheikh Ahmed Dalmouk Al Maktoum, a member of the royal family of the United Arab Emirates. Now, in that statement, we've got a bit more clarity about, the nature of the agreement and when it was signed. The agreement was signed on March 9th, 2021, to help the people of Ghana bring to a halt the distress caused by COVID-19 pandemic. And as we know, the Sputnik V and COVID-19 vaccine has indeed been approved in more than 50 countries. And so that's a background to this. And then the VG newspaper did an investigation on the back of this and established the claim that those behind the Sheikh, of course, came along with two other individuals. One of them is wanted by Norwegian police, and they may have inflated, allegedly, the price of the vaccines that they're getting for us. Today we got a statement from the Health Ministry alerting that they will be issuing a statement later today with clarity on this particular situation with the vaccines. As we heard the WHO assert there, this is a concern not only in Ghana but in other vulnerable countries, but they warn us about the potential that these middlemen could be fraudulent and maybe peddling to us, one, inflated prices, but also fake products. We've been getting some clarity on this from the chairman on the Health Committee in Parliament, Dr. Yahweh Friye, who claims that the deal to bring in the $19 per dose vaccine isn't the only deal so far, and that it's an open door policy to everybody else who has the capacity to bring in vaccines to do so, and that there are several of them, some are priced as low as $10 a dose. Listen to him, because he also addressed a press conference in Parliament this morning.
It was made to believe that the price had been inflated for whatever gains that it is. Our understanding is that RDIF, which is the Russian Development Investment Fund, which sees to transactions for acquisition of Sputnik, gives it at the factory price of $10 or 9.90. And then you would have to go through clearance FOB, that's free on board. So it's up to you on how you get it to your country. Now, unlike the AstraZeneca, which is more of the government-to-government system, the Russians use more of middlemen or third parties to be able to do transactions. So what the ministries or governments do is to express interest or give you letters of authorization, and then you go ahead to strike a deal with them. So as far as it is, about 7 companies have letters and various prices ranging between $12 to $19. So if the impression is created as if it is one company, and it is created as if it is 19, the other question then is that what happens to the other people who quoted 12, those who quoted lower than $19, and who for some reason, all of them have not been able to deliver? Nothing for now. But what I can say for ourselves is that the MPs have gains at the expense of the taxpayer, and all of them have been vaccinated, if not for second dose, first dose. They are serving their family. And other Ghanaians also matter, regardless of your social standing. And that is the mandate of the president. And that is my mandate as the chairman, to see to government business, to correct that misrepresentation in the public, and also to open up for any discussions that would clarify this. I think the agency, or for that matter, the manner in which we find ourselves in are not usual times. I've made it clear that globally, even certification of vaccines and what WHO will call the EOU, the emergency EUA, the emergency use authorization. So the normal processes have been shortened because of the speed to which you need the vaccines. I've also gone through the issue that the price is not only 19 in terms of proposals with the ministry. It ranges between 12 to 19. So saying that it's 19 is disingenuous without letting people know that it's an open door policy. And the desperate moment need desperate approach. Asking everybody who can get vaccines to get letters and go ahead and bring them.
And you had there, that's the chairman of the health committee in Parliament. I want to bring in now Kwame Sarpong-Asiedu, Dr. Kwame Sarpong-Asiedu, who of course is a fellow with the Center for Democratic Development. He's himself a pharmacist by profession. He's been watching this very closely, and he joins us via Zoom tonight. Doc, thank you for your time here on Top Story.
Thank you. Thank you, and good evening to everybody.
Let's start with the WHO's position on this. When a direct question was asked to them about the Ghana situation, your reaction to what they said. A few things there: the warnings about dealing with middlemen, the warnings about the advice to go directly to the source of the production. Your take on that?
That's why I laughed, because if Evans, you'd remember, I sat on PM Express with you, Dr. John Amwesi, the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, and the Presidential Advisor on Health, Dr. Siasari. As far back as February, and I was clear in explaining the movement of drugs in international commerce, and when it comes to vaccines, the role of the market authorization holder and the product license holder. I just want to check, do you remember those conversations?
I do.
And I did tell you that in a public health emergency, dealing with middlemen is a no-no, because if you are dealing with an emergency use authorization, the product is not fully licensed, and the market authorization holder and the patent holder want to get as much information as to any risk, just in case there are very severe consequences, and to mitigate against it. We are sitting here in June with the WHO saying exactly what I said months back. And before that, you must remember I had said that in August of 2020 on Newshow with Samson Ladi. And you see, I am very disappointed in how this has played out, because for me, we didn't need to get here. And that is my initial reaction to where we find ourselves now.
Let's also address the question about, we had Dr. Efrio, the chairman of the health committee, say, well, the Russians only entertain middlemen, and so we had to use a middleman. If you circle that back to the WHO's point, they say first option, go directly. Second option, if you want to use a middleman, make sure you check their background to make sure they're legal. I wonder if that clearly has become a problem for us now.
You see, Evans, I wouldn't have wanted to address the chairman because as a health professional, I'd want to defer to my colleague. But when someone makes an egregious statement where it contravenes all the guidance that has been used in drug and medicines movements globally prior to COVID-19, and I know that he's a health colleague of mine who should know what the guidance says, and comes to say that, oh, you could use middlemen, when in actual fact, yes, you could use middlemen, but you need to do due diligence. And why do I say this? We have 3 human beings in question, and they are known. 2 of them were involved in the botched Amari deal to Ghana. I just want to check if you remember Sheikh Mansour and
Yes,
Jacob.
yes, Al Maktoum.
Yes. So you know 2 of them. The third is a convicted criminal in Norway and a current fugitive for justice who lives in the UK. So the question I ask myself is, if I, as a biomedical scientist operating in this sphere, could do due diligence on these people and say, I wouldn't do business with them with a barge pole. What was our internal and external security doing when our Ministry of Health was speaking to such people, especially when this government came to power and made a lot of rousing noises about America? What was our business? What was the desperation? I am trying to establish what was the desperation dealing with these 3 characters.
I mean, Dr. Friye says we are in desperate times, and indeed we are we not? Because we are not finding the COVID, lives are at stake, we need to get it.
No, and that's why I have the benefit of hindsight, Evans. And that's why I took you back to August of last year when the vaccines were being developed and the clinical trials were starting. Conversations I had on Newsfile, I had on Joy SMS, I had with yourself, articles I wrote that are published on Joy Online, some of which I got insulted and slated for. That's all the beauty of what I get myself involved. The point is, we are in desperate times because we didn't listen. The likes of Dr. John Abuesi said the same. We knew the role we have to play. Have you ever asked yourself how a country like Chile, with 19 million people, a population less than Ghana, has 88 million doses of vaccine, and has franchise arrangement for another 40 million? What did they do? Are they not a lower middle income country? Do they not have the same constraints? Are their health expenditure per capita not similar to Ghana? You see, I feel sad because when I look at the WHO, when I look at Global Fund, when I look at UNAID, I look at all the organizations, and I have colleagues in there who were also speaking. It's not like they were quiet, but we tried to drown down the noises, and now we are here, and we are saying it was an emergency. The question I ask is, was it an emergency or a created emergency based on the fact that we didn't act on expediency?
And very finally, what should we do now? In the wake of the WHO advice that we just had, and what possibly could be a situation, and I will wait for that statement to come. But in the midst of everything that we've discussed, what should Ghana do? What should the approach be going forward?
Well, we ordered 3.4 million doses, didn't we?
Yes.
There's enough evidence to say we've paid for 300,000 doses. The president spoke to us on 3 occasions, and the last directive we had from the president was that it was going there Sputnik vaccines were going to start arriving on the 15th of May. Today is the 9th of June. They haven't arrived. We need to hedge our bets. We need to accept that probably, like the WHO said, we've dealt with a middleman who swindled us. We've lost money for 300,000 doses times 19. I want the listener to make the calculation. I'm not in the business of doing mathematics. And hedge our bets and just accept that we went into a bad deal. Unnecessary explanation. And I can understand that I can cut the government some flack by saying that, yes, when you have a duty of care towards 30 million people, sometimes you take desperate measures. So maybe, and I am using this economically, just maybe, 300,000 doses paid for and 3.1 million doses gained is a trade-off we can live with.
Yeah.
But as a people, we need to hold a candle and a mirror to our face and ask ourselves, should we have been here?
And indeed, Doc, we have been told that this statement will definitely be issued tonight, and so we'll probably get a bit more clarity on this. Dr. Kwame Sapwanasiru, I'm grateful that you joined us with your thoughts. I want to quickly bring in the chairman of the Health Committee in Parliament, Dr. Yafrie himself. Doc, thank you for your time.
Yeah, hello.
Great.
Evans.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Evans, I can hear you.
Great. At your press conference, there's something you said that we need to further clarify. You say that it's not as if one company was giving this deal and the only company that came with $19 per dose, and the other companies that come forward sometimes as low as $10 a dose. But there is a press release earlier this year, in fact, just a short 4 weeks ago, which specified by government clearly that our deal was with the office of the Sheikh, the Royal Highness Sheikh Ahmed Al Maktoum, for 3.4 million doses. That is the deal that we signed on the 9th of March that is in question currently.
Yeah, Evans. Hello, Evans.
Yes, I can hear you.
Excuse me. The last speaker, did he mention Chile? What did he say about Chile?
What about it?
Yeah, what country did you mention? He did mention a country. I wanted to.
He mentioned several countries. I mean, I know in which respect.
No, he did mention Chile. That there's a country he mentioned that had a population of this and had a certain.
And they have 80 million plus doses.
Chile? Is it Chile?
He mentioned a few countries. I can't recall correctly.
No. He did mention a particular
mentioned a country. Yes.
He,
What's the point? He mentioned a country.
Right. So why don't you ask me?
He's not. I'll let him go. Well, what's the point?
I heard you mention Chile, but just for your information, I mean, if he mentioned Chile had his first vaccine consignment on the 23rd of April, and it was 158,000 doses out of 814. So to complete a certain population and then give a certain dose as if Ghana was not performing was going to be disingenuous. That's why
his point. That's why I was asking what context. His point was
coming from a point of developing country.
No, not a developing. He mentioned specifically a lower middle income country that has 80 million doses that they have managed to secure.
Chile,
that is why that is why. Can we
get your producers to go on UNICEF platform? Chile anticipates to get 7 million doses, far less than what Ghana intends to have in the year, and Chile have 158,000 doses, far less than what Ghana has. So please, if you come on this informed platform, my friend should be very careful and have his facts right. Please, let your producers check.
Let's get to the question I asked specifically.
Yes, I'm going to go to your question, but I'm saying that on a platform as yours,
I think you've made the point. He'll clarify. Let's address my question.
Yes. So your question, please. Your question again, please.
My question: you at the press conference today, you made the point about your explanation was the $19 a dose isn't the only one, and that there are several other companies, and that it shouldn't be made of sense. My point to you is there was one announcement by government, and that announcement by government was in reference to the office of the Sheikh Al Maktoum, where we signed an agreement on the 9th of March to get 3.4 million doses. That is the specific deal, that agreement that we signed, that is in question.
And so that is what you have a problem with. But I'm also informing you that it's not the only company that the government has had an agreement with.
I'm sorry, if government announced a deal, that's the only deal government announced.
Yes, so what about the deal? Are you saying that I want you to be specific. I'm saying that yes, it's not the only company that have letter of authorization to bring Sputnik 5 vaccines. So what are you saying about it? You said initially the press statement was specifically saying, if you look at the minority statement, it is government has given a deal for them to bring Sputnik, and it is $19. And I said the perception made it to look as if it was monopoly. The attempt was being made to give to one company, and
that is what the facts. What you just said is what the facts challenge. I'm saying government itself issued a statement, and they only reference one agreement, which is the one in question. The one in question.
And I'm saying that regardless of government statement, I'm also telling you that as of April, that they issued that statement. As of the time that they had that agreement, between now to now, they have 6 other companies. So regardless of whether that is the issue, if we wanted to do with a particular issue, first one, then we can focus on this particular company and deal with it.
But that's a question I'm asking you. That's a question I'm asking. This company that we signed a deal with, they actually deliver 16,000 doses with a promise to deliver more. We have actually engaged them. Yet
in April, they were supposed to have delivered 350,000 doses, zero. They were supposed to have brought 1 million more in the subsequent month, zero. So as we speak, there is no transaction.
When you say there's no transaction, what do you mean? They delivered 16,000 doses.
They've not been able to deliver according to what is expected of them. We were expecting 350. They've not been able to make up 350. We're expecting 1 million. Subsequently, they've not been able to make up to it.
Yeah, but we signed a deal with them. Are you aware if monetary considerations were exchanged in that deal?
No. It's healthy on site, and there's no payment.
So, but we are willing to make the payment at $19 that you can confirm to this particular company.
It's going to be, like I said this morning in my press statement, if even is going to be $30 per dose, and they are going to deliver for the ordinary Ghanaian to have his life, the life of a Ghanaian, an ordinary Ghanaian, is worth more than 2 doses of Sputnik. That would be $60.
Dr. Friye, the WHO just spoke to this matter, and they were clear in the Ghana case and the other 2 countries with the same problem, that we should go directly to the source. And second, if we want to use intermediaries, we should check. Just a second. We should check the background of the intermediaries. Question is, did we do due diligence into the background of the intermediaries we use for this particular 3.4 million doses we're expecting?
I heard the WHO officer advising the position of the advice given to us. And I don't need a rocket scientist to come to Ghana to advise me on such a position that I find as very primary and basic. Let's put that one aside.
Wait. When you say put it aside, that's a WHO advice. You're saying that it's okay to disregard the WHO advice on doing a due diligence on an intermediary bringing you a vaccine because, as you say, it is primary and basic?
Look at what the president said. Under circumstances of emergency or public health emergencies, because of your desperation, you may have fake products, inflated products, dealing with middlemen. But look, the Sputnik vaccine, by virtue of the protocols of acquisition, you necessarily must deal with the middle person. So I don't need the WHO person to advise me on that.
That's not their point. Their point to you is deal with but check its background and did we do due diligence on the background?
Evans, please, let me address entirely what the person said. Please.
No, I'm asking a specific question. No, specific question.
The person said fake.
No,
what
specific,
does the WHO person mean by fake?
Specific question.
Ghana's FDA, excellent. Which other FDA in Africa?
Dr. Free, specific question. Specific question. Did we do due diligence on the background of the intermediaries or not?
Evans, that WHO officer speaking is also insulting. He talks to Ghanaians as if you don't have an FDA to verify and also approve a drug. They approve the use of Sputnik. So advising us that we should be aware of fake stuff coming. When every batch of every dose, every batch of every consultant will go end up that a sample will be taken to FDA.
Well, Dr. Free, just run out of time on this, but I'm grateful that you joined us with the clarity. We're still expecting a statement tonight by the Health Ministry that will offer some further clarity